Hey channel, welcome back. As you can see, we're here in beautiful Ouray, Colorado, my favorite place on the planet. And I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled to be joined this trip and today by my friend Chris with Cruiseman's Garage. If you watch YouTube at all and motorcycle content, you know Cruiseman's Garage. You know, about a year ago or a year and a half ago, when I first started thinking about buying a Goldwing, I did some YouTube research like everybody does. I started watching videos left and right, and again and again and again, I kept coming back to this guy, Cruiseman's Garage. He had such great content and helped me understand the pluses and the minuses of the Goldwing before I made the purchase. And it wasn't long after that I was watching one of his videos. I had the bike. I wanted to learn what to put on it and how it handled on the road. It wasn't long after that before I saw a video where he passed a sign, a freeway sign, highway sign, and I said, oh my gosh, I recognize that sign. This guy is in Dallas somewhere. So one thing led to another. I reached out to him and eventually said, hey, I know you have breakfast with Don Smith once in a while. Could I possibly just one time crash that breakfast and come meet you? I really want to meet you. And he was so gracious, didn't even hesitate, said, yeah, sure, come on out. So that started this relationship, and it's been so fruitful. I've learned so much about these machines from him, about video editing from him, to be honest. And I just want to take a moment and introduce Chris from Cruiseman's Garage.
Well, happy to be here. We've had some good riding already the last few days.
Yeah.
And being from Texas, I'm not quite used to this nippy weather. We're out here. I don't know what it is, probably in the 40s or 50s.
It is a little cool out here this morning.
We had to put our flannel shirts on.
Yeah.
But, no, it's really enjoyed the trip and our relationship so far, so it's been great.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so what I thought I'd do this morning, guys, is just take a moment and ask Chris a little bit about his channel and his Goldwings, and just get a little history of Cruiseman that, you know, I don't think you see very often on his videos or anybody else's. So because I'm not smart enough to remember all of them, I've lined out a few questions, and we're just going to have a chat with Chris this morning. And again, I certainly appreciate you being out here.
Sure.
So let's just go back to the beginning. Tell me about your early interest in motorcycles. When did you first get interested in them?
Oh boy, when I was probably 14 or 15 is when I started. I was interested in mini bikes back in the 60s, late 60s, and my mom wasn't going to have any of it. I mean, she was dead set against it. We had knockdown, drag-out arguments. She was divorced from my stepdad, so it was just she and I, and my brother was in college or high school. I never saw my brother back then.
Oh gosh.
But we would have these long arguments, and I wanted a mini bike so bad. Yeah. And then I would read Mini Bike Guide every month when it came out, and it wasn't going anywhere. Well, one day she picks me up at school. Okay. I was in the 8th grade, kind of about the end of the year, and I pointed to a mini bike. I guess somebody had ridden one to the school, which is kind of odd. Okay. And she said, is that like the one that you want? And I said, no, I want the Honda Trail 70. Because they had come out with that a year or so before. About that year, 69. And she said, well, let's go get it.
Oh my gosh.
And in the, not to my knowledge, but her friend who knew me as well, that she played cards with and they were buddies, finally talked her into it and said, you need to just let him do it, because she was terrified of motorcycles. Oh, as is every mother. Exactly. So we went down to the Honda place and bought a brand new 1969 Honda Trail 70. I mean, it was without a doubt one of the happiest days of my life. I never wanted something that long. Oh. And it finally happened. Yeah, so, it's etched in your memory now forever. Yeah. And so all I could do was ride in the yard and up and down the alley. We had a big yard. Yeah, okay. And then eventually graduated from there.
Don't you know that made your mother just so happy to be able to let you have what you had been dreaming to have for so?
She never said.
Scared to death.
I don't know if it made her happy, but
Scared to death.
glad to end the arguing, that's for sure.
I think I got the same result from my mother when I told her I was buying a motorcycle. My first one, I rode my grandparents' mopeds and I rode my dad's Honda 125 for a good long time. But the first time I bought one was when I graduated from high school. I went out and got a Nighthawk 650. And I got some of the very same concerns from my mother about riding that thing.
I'll bet.
I'm pretty much lucky to be alive from that period of my life. But anyway, so then eventually it morphed into you had an interest in Goldwing. So tell me about your first Goldwing. How'd that happen?
Well, I took a break from riding after I got interested in cars and girls. Girls, or back then anyway, were more interested in a guy with a car.
Right.
So I after the Trail 70, I had a little Suzuki 50, and then I moved up to a Suzuki 125, and then got a car.
Oh, awesome.
And so I didn't ride motorcycles again until, probably 1979, 1980. I bought a used Suzuki 550.
Okay.
3-cylinder GT 550.
Oh, nice.
Didn't ride it that much. Went on my first long road trip in it.
On a 550?
On a 550, no windshield.
Oh, gosh.
And, but it was a great bike. I bought it used from a guy that was a dentist, and he only had like 1,000 miles on it. But anyway, so after I finally sold that, I sold it to the guy that laid the brick on my house.
Okay.
Paid me cash.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't ride another motorcycle until 2005.
Wow.
When I bought my Harley Sportster.
Okay.
And honestly, I got kind of reinvigorated about motorcycles from everybody's going to laugh, but I was watching American Chopper, and back then they had Jesse James and all these motorcycle shows on TV, and Ricky and I would watch them together, and it just kind of got me reinterested in it. Went down to the Harley dealership, bought a Sportster, rode that for a few months, and then Ricky wanted to ride on the back. I never anticipated that, and it was just too small.
Oh, yeah.
Little bitty bike.
Yeah.
I mean, little bitty compared. I mean, it's still the biggest motorcycle I'd ever ridden up to that point.
Right, but for two people,
For two people, it was too small.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was in the Harley group, and I was thinking about getting the Harley Ultra Glide, the big, or the Road Glide, something like that. And I was on eBay, and I had no interest in Goldwings really, but I saw this Goldwing, a 2006 model. I'm sorry, 2005 model.
Yeah.
It was probably in 2006. It was used.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, hell, I'll put a bid in on that. It was local. It was at a car dealership.
Okay.
Somebody had traded it in on a car at a Subaru dealer, and they were selling it on eBay, and the bids looked pretty low. So I put in a bid, and I thought, I don't care. I'm not going to get it anyway because I put in such a ridiculously low bid.
Right.
Got up the next morning. Congratulations, you've won the bid.
With a low bid.
And I don't even know if I want a Goldwing.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
So
what that started.
Yeah, and I rode it. I remember going to pick it up, and it was almost like new. It only had 1,800 miles on it.
Wow.
It was yellow. It was the
wow.
that a lot of people hate. I like it.
I like the yellow.
I didn't care for it much at the time, but I grew to really love it.
Yeah.
And I rode it home, and I thought, oh my God, this thing is so smooth. And I was kind of intimidated by it at first because it was so big.
Yeah.
And I thought, am I going to be able to handle this thing? But it was so easy to handle and ride and smooth on the way home. And I thought, this is it.
You've been infected.
Yeah, it didn't take long. And Ricky and I took a road trip out to the Grand Canyon. We bought a trailer, and it was just...
How cool.
Yeah. So that's where it started, the Goldwing.
Well, tell me the timeline. You went from that Goldwing to what?
After Ricky, we did our first road trip together. This was a bare bones, lowest level Goldwing.
Yeah.
Didn't have ABS brakes, and we were pulling trailer, and we knew we were going to do more road trips after that first one. So I thought, I really don't feel comfortable without ABS brakes.
Right.
So we bought a new 2007. I sold my 2005.
Okay.
And bought a 2007 with ABS, orange, with a matching orange Bush Tech trailer.
Oh,
I actually talked to John Preston on the phone, who owned Bush Tech.
Okay.
And I was going to buy a Hannigan trailer.
Yeah.
But he called me and we talked for probably an hour, and I've never seen anybody that was so passionate about his product. I mean, he convinced me, okay, I need to buy a Bushtec.
Okay.
So, bought the Bushtec trailer, and we just started riding all over the country. We put 70,000 miles on that bike in about 2.5 years.
Wow, 70,000. God.
I mean, we went everywhere. We'd go at least 3 weeks a year.
So Ricky really enjoyed riding.
Oh yeah, she loved it. She had a great time.
That's awesome.
And she'd sit on the back and take pictures of everything.
That's great. That's great. So the orange one, then that morphed into what?
Well, that morphed into the 2012.
Okay.
When the 2012s came out, they made some changes. It made some improvements, I thought. And so I sold that 2007 and bought the 2000. So I had that one for 5 years. And bought the 2012, which was blue and silver. Bought it in Oklahoma.
Blue and silver, nice.
Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboy colors, yeah.
And yeah, we did a couple of road trips on that bike, but about this time, Ricky's mom started, her health started failing, so we couldn't get away as much. So, and then the 2012 turned into the 2018 when they came out with the new 2018, completely redesigned the bike. I fell in love with it. I thought the design was amazing. And that pearl white color, that was stunning color. Yeah, loved the white.
Yeah.
So sold that 2017.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 2012 to a guy in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Flew down, paid me cash, rode the bike all the way home.
Oh, wow.
And
did you keep the trailer or did you sell the trailer?
I still got the trailer.
Okay.
Oh, and now when I got the 2012, since it didn't match, that orange didn't match the blue, my brother and I wrapped it in matte black.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So it's got a matte black.
I see.
And then the 2018 just recently became the 2024.
Right. I was so surprised. I remember we started talking about that. Like, hey, I really like this new 2024 and the color scheme that it's got on there. We both enjoyed that color scheme early on. And then one day he says, I might get another bike. I'm like, wow, that is cool.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was going to ride the bike out to Tennessee to get the fuel pump replaced, because of the recall. And guys at Southern Honda said, hey, why don't you consider trading? I'll make you a deal. And boy, they did. So I went in and rode home on a 2024. Yeah, so many of you know the story that when he bought that, also Mac with Gold Rider 1 went out there to meet him that very day. And this guy talked Mac, and maybe the dealership also talked Mac into trading in his brand new, I think it was matte blue. Didn't have 1,000 miles on it. He had Bagger. 800 miles, I think. He traded it in and got a matching bike just like Cruiseman here, and that was just a fun time. And I'm sorry about my house here is not far from the highway, so you're hearing a little bit of road noise. I apologize for that. Okay, let's talk about Cruiseman's Garage. You know, I bought your videos early on because I saw the value in them. I knew I was going to do my own maintenance on them, and it's a Tupperware factory, the thing is, and I had no idea how to get into it or do any of that. And your videos walk step by step with clear graphics and clear instruction on how to do just about everything on that bike. I saw the value right away. And channel, if you haven't already bought that video series, go out and get it, because you will save yourself. I know I've already saved myself in labor dollars enough multiple times than I paid for the video package. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's the plug for Cruiseman's videos. But seriously, honestly, go check them out. If you're able to do your own maintenance on your Goldwing, either an earlier version or the 2018 Plus version, he's got videos for them. Go out and check that out. But tell me a little bit about Cruiseman's Garage. I mean, I found it, obviously, as I said, just looking for information. How'd that come about? What made you decide to create a YouTube channel about this? Well, it really kind of started when I got the 2007 Goldwing. I think the very first YouTube video I did was of me installing a Tulsa belly pan. Okay. I think that was the first video I did, installing a Tulsa belly pan onto the Goldwing. And I always had an interest in tinkering on them anyway. Yeah. And I started early on. Even with the 2005, I did a little bit of work on it, oil changes and things like that, but I wasn't doing videos. Yeah. And then with the 2007, I did a few videos, and I started YouTube was just kind of becoming a thing for me. This is probably back in, gosh, I don't know, 2010.
Yeah.
And some of the people on YouTube said, you need to make some maintenance DVDs.
Oh, DVDs.
DVDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is before they had on demand on Vimeo. Didn't exist, or I didn't.
No streaming.
No streaming.
Okay.
So I did. I made a set of DVDs and started selling them, and they sold pretty well.
Okay.
Sold through Wing Stuff, and then the Vimeo on demand came about.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the year. I wish I could tell you. I'd go back and look.
Right.
But so I thought, well, yeah, that's a better way to do it. I'll just put them on demand. That way, if I need to make a change to a video, if you make a change to a video on a DVD, it's hard to get it out to everybody because you got to redo DVDs.
Right.
It's a pain in the butt.
Right.
So with on demand, I can upload a new version and everybody gets the updated video,
which I have
can add to it.
Yeah, which I have benefited from. You've added videos since I purchased it.
Yeah. So that's kind of the progression. And then when I got the 2012 is when I got more serious about really going in and making the DVD, the on-demand videos. And then, of course, when the 2018 came out, the first thing I did was start tearing it apart.
Tear it apart.
And that was before they had a service. Honda didn't have the service manual out yet.
And that's a little scary because you start pulling stuff off and it's popping and cracking and you're thinking you're breaking everything in there.
I didn't just think I broke some things. I broke some things.
Okay.
Because the thing about, even with the service manual, the Honda service manual, which is about $150, used to be, I don't know what it is now, it'll show you what you need. It tells you what you need to do.
Yeah.
So to replace your air filter, you've got to remove this, remove this, remove this, remove this.
Right.
It doesn't show you how to remove this.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't warn you, by the way, pull it this direction. Don't pull it that direction because there's a tab over here that you might break.
Oh, I see.
And that, to me, is the value of the videos. You get to actually watch somebody do it.
Yeah.
And see how not to do it.
Absolutely.
And see, because the first time I took stuff off,
snap, crackle, pop.
it was very fun.
So where'd you come up with Cruiseman? How that name? Where did it?
Well, that actually goes back
Cruiseman's garage.
Back to the Harley group.
Okay.
Back when I was a member of the Harley group, I was the group photographer of our Harley group.
Okay.
And everybody on the Harley groups they all have handles, kind of like on YouTube.
I got you.
Everybody's got a name.
A nickname. Okay.
And mine was Cruiseman because I had a cruise business where we reviewed cruise ships.
Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about that in just a minute.
Okay, so everybody just started calling me Cruiseman.
Ah, okay.
So when I started doing the videos, I just said, I'll just do Cruiseman's garage.
Oh, that's awesome. And guys, if you follow him, you've seen his garage. What an amazing garage that is. I have serious garage envy when I go over there.
Not like Mark's, though.
Oh, not like Mark's. Mark, I know you're watching, buddy. Your garage, man. We're both envious of that. All right, let's see what's next here. Oh, scariest moment on a motorcycle. I know I've had a few. Well, can you think of what?
I've told the story before on my channel. It's got to be on the 2012.
Okay.
I was coming home from coffee one morning, about 7:30 in the morning, on a Saturday. It was actually, it was my brother's birthday. It was February 6th. I remember it was his birthday.
Okay.
I was going down 121 there in Carrollton,
right?
Which I affectionately refer to as the Carrollton International Speedway because everybody drives 80, 85 miles an hour.
It's NASCAR.
And I'm behind a pickup truck, which is about maybe 100 yards ahead of me, and I should have been farther back.
Right.
He just goes right over something, and as soon as he goes over it, I can now see it in my lane. And it looked like a rear end off of an ATV.
Oh, good gracious.
It was about this big. That's all I can think of.
Okay.
I didn't have time to examine it.
Right.
I only had about a second to make a decision.
Right.
And it was kind of tilted up, in the road. It wasn't level.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to change lanes because I didn't have time to look in my rearview mirror to see if there's anybody to my right because there's an entrance ramp coming into the highway there.
Okay.
Cars zooming past me all the time anyway. So I made the snap decision to hit it straight on.
Head on.
I knew I was going down.
Oh, gracious.
Because I knew it would break the front wheel, maybe the front forks, and blow out the fork. And I'm going about 65.
Holy cow, what's going on?
Probably had time to slow down to about 50 before I hit it.
Okay.
And it made the most god-awful sound when I hit that thing.
No doubt.
As soon as I hit it, I looked in the rearview mirror because I knew I couldn't believe I was still up.
Right.
I didn't go down. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I heard this incredible crash where I thought it had to break the front wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
But I looked in the rearview mirror because I knew I needed to pull over. Well, as soon as I looked in the rearview mirror, all I saw was smoke coming out of the exhaust. So I reached up immediately, turned off the key.
Okay.
Pulled in the clutch. There wasn't much traffic, thankfully. I was able to pull over, and whatever I hit had come up and hit the crank engine case.
Yeah.
Completely tore off the belly pan.
Oh, hello, Traxxion Dynamics belly pan.
If it had been Traxxion Dynamics, it might have survived.
Might have survived, yeah.
But it's a miracle this thing didn't kick up and take off my left foot.
Oh, jeez.
And that was it. That was the scariest moment.
Oh, my
Hitting
gosh.
that road debris is one of the scariest things to
No
me.
doubt.
Yeah.
I've not hit anything like that. I have come close to hitting animals, and I've spun out in gravel and done some things. So, but that
Yeah,
I think I would have died from fright.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go on. We've already talked about motorcycles a lot, so I'll just skip over that one. Talked about your YouTube channel, so we'll skip over that one. Tell me what you did before motorcycles and YouTube for a living. I know you're retired now, enjoying retirement. Well, what was your career before retiring?
Well, I don't really think of myself as retired.
Okay, no, because you're busy nine hours a day.
I mean, my previous career,
Yeah,
history,
Yeah.
was technology. I was a database designer, developer
Okay.
for many years. Consulting, I did consulting. I've always been self-employed.
really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been self-employed since I was 19 years old, 20 years old.
Never worked for a company.
One time in 1996, I was consulting with a company in Austin, Texas. The internet had just kind of started becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And they wanted to hire me to do some database work for them down in Austin.
Okay.
And I did on a contract basis for about 3 months. And then they wanted everybody to be employees. So they made us all these stock option offers and everything.
Okay.
So for 1996, I actually worked for a company.
Oh, wow.
And I more or less put my my other customers on hold. They were okay.
Okay.
And worked for them and learned all about the internet. Well, once I left that company,
Yeah.
then I started a new business where I was developing a database connected to the internet for travel agents.
Oh.
And so Ricky and I loved to cruise. We'd been on a couple of cruises. And so we started building this website for the cruise industry.
Yeah.
And just more or less as a hobby.
Yeah.
Just to do it, to see if I could do it.
Yeah.
And travel agent told me, hey, you need to sell this to travel agents. And long story, there's actually a couple iterations of things that happened. I could talk for 2 hours on that, and I'm not going to. You can't shut me up.
No, it's all right. And we were going to get into your other channel, so I'm glad you're bringing it up. And guys, if you don't know he has another channel, he has another channel. Probably existed before Cruiseman did, right? I mean, Cruiseman's Garage, and it's all about the cruise industry. And I love cruising. My mother's on a cruise right now. We all love cruising.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here now. Yeah. So I subscribe to his other YouTube channel right away and watch that content every time he puts something out there. So talk a little more about that channel.
Yeah, well, it's right now it's cruisereport.com, and it grew out of this previous business that we did for the travel agents. I ended up selling my interest in that company back in 2002.
Yeah.
Well, actually 2001.
Okay.
And then in 2002, I had a 1-year non-compete. In 2002, I started Cruise Report.
Okay.
Because I already had all the contacts in the cruise industry with all the major cruise lines.
Right.
And we wanted to do cruise reviews.
Okay.
So we worked with the cruise lines to make that happen.
Yeah.
And now Cruise Report is, we've been doing that for 20 years, 146 cruises.
Yeah, it's one of the go-to
Lots of
places if
reviews.
you want to learn about ships or cruises. It's a pretty interesting channel. That's cool. All right, well, let's we're going to wrap this up. I know some of you guys who follow us know that every Sunday morning we like to have this breakfast at Awake. And our good friend Don Smith, Bubba, as everybody calls him, joins us every Sunday, and boy, does this guy have stories. He is just fantastic to sit and listen to. I could listen to him for hours, but tell me how you met Don.
It was probably just a few months after I got my 2018 Goldwing. I would go to coffee every morning at a different Einstein's over in Coppell, Texas.
Yeah.
And I guess he found me on YouTube.
Oh, similar to the way I did.
Probably.
Yeah,
and
okay.
he reached out to me. I think he sent me an email, or I don't remember now. And he had just bought a 2018 Goldwing.
Oh yeah.
And so he was interested in finding other people. And plus, he knew that I think I had mentioned in a video that I use Final Cut Pro to edit my videos.
Oh.
And Don is a big video guy.
Yeah.
And he loved Final Cut Pro and the Macintosh, so we had these two interests. So he wanted to reach out to me.
Okay.
And he rode from his house all the way over to Coppell.
A Burgundy 2018, by the way, just so you know.
You know, like everybody's got. Everybody me has Burgundy. So we met at Einstein's and just became quick friends. And he's been able to give me a lot of good tips on Final Cut Pro editing.
No doubt.
And I've learned a lot from him.
And he's got this golden voice that is just perfect. I mean, he was in broadcasting for so long.
Yeah.
He knows how to speak to a camera, and he's got a voice and a cadence that is just perfect for it.
Yeah, he does all my intros.
Oh, that's right.
When you see my videos, you'll see
that's right.
Sponsored by whoever.
Yeah.
That's Don doing all my.
So I talked about all the stories he has. Do you have a favorite story that he's told us recently?
Oh my gosh!
I mean, there's been so many.
You know, the favorite story that Don told me I can't tell on camera.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're going to keep that safe.
It's the greatest story ever told.
Okay.
I think he told you.
I think maybe. All right.
Can't tell
we're just gonna keep that one to ourselves. I like it. I like his drowning puppy story, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah. Now the drowning puppy. If you haven't seen it, Don's got a video he shot years and years ago where he was a cameraman for. I don't know if he was doing a job for CBS. He was
affiliate.
a network.
Yeah.
He was like a contract freelance network camera guy. And he went to cover some flood.
Flood, right.
And there was a puppy floating out there on a piece of wood or
debris,
something, struggling against the current. And Don walks out there and I don't know if he set his camera down or if his audio guy filmed him doing it.
I think somebody else grabbed the camera and filmed him.
That video's got like millions of views.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
So check out the drowning puppy video.
Yeah, I won't spoil. Yeah, actually, I am going to spoil it. He saves the puppy.
Yeah.
What he named the puppy?
I don't remember.
There was something like rescue or something like that. Some name related to that event. Whoever he gave the dog to, they named the dog that. But it was it was a heartwarming story.
Yeah,
the puppy got saved, and it wasn't no chin deep water, but it was knee deep water, maybe even higher than that in some cases, which are moving at a good clip. So. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap up our discussion channel. Thank you for joining us today. And Chris, thank you so much for this time. I mean, it's some insight that I've heard bits and pieces of, but I just wanted to bring it to my channel and give an introduction about you to my channel. And here we are in this wonderful location.
It's beautiful here.
What a great place to have this interview. So I appreciate it very much. And I appreciate our friendship. And I thank you for everything you've given me, the maintenance videos. He didn't give them, I bought them. But when I say give me, the information on how to do my own maintenance.
Most people know I'm too cheap to give you
the tips and all the tips on YouTube videos and how to tease things and put text in and stuff. I've learned a lot from Don. I've also learned a lot from you. I appreciate all of that. So
good.
All right, channel, that's going to wrap it up. We're going to head off to another exciting location. And if you haven't watched my series and his series on this Colorado trip, go out and check that out. We have several episodes, probably a daily episode. Eventually they'll all get out. You're going to love them. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks.